Hey there, 2033. This is Dr. Melanie Wilderman, and I am here to talk to you about the AP style assignment. You are going to be using this little gem right here to complete the AP style assignment. So this is the Associated Press style book. You will want a recent edition. Make sure you check with your professor that you have an edition that works for them. All right, so the AP Style Guide has been described as the Bible of the media industry. And the whole reason to even have a style guide is to provide consistency with our work as media professionals. So throughout your time at Gaylord, you're going to be using AP Style in various classes. All right, advertisers use it. PR practitioners use it, journalists use it, and sometimes even professional writers use it depending on what type of work you're doing. There are styles within AP Style that are specific to broadcast, so really all of us need to know about the AP Style book. All right, so you may have noticed, just as you look around at the world, right, that sometimes there are inconsistencies with the way that we use language. All right, so sometimes people are using abbreviations for a word or not abbreviating a word or having slightly different spellings. Like, for example, does the L in the middle of cancel, right, is that one L or is that two L's? You've probably seen it both ways a lot of times. So what the AP Style book is going to do is basically say, hey, this is the industry standard for this particular language situation. All right. Let me tell you first a little bit about how the book is arranged. So the first 300 pages or so are basically an A through Z alphabetical index, right? And it's not a dictionary, not every single word is in here, but a lot of what you might look up, you might be able to look up with just a single word, right? So if you're thinking attorney and lawyer, like those are very similar words. Which one is the right word for me to use? Well, there's an entry right here, for attorney and lawyer, and it's going to break it down for you, when should you use one over the other. Okay, so in some cases, you're going to be able to just A through Z alphabetically find what you're looking for. Other times, since not every word is in here, right, because again, it's not a dictionary, since not every word is in here, you might start to think about groupings. So you might be thinking, I'm looking for this particular term, or I'm looking for the name of a company, and that term or the name of the company isn't in the style book. Okay, well, start to think of what might that be under. All right, so for example, if I was thinking to myself, okay, if I'm spelling out, or if I'm writing out the Coca-Cola company, right, does that have a hyphen, right? Coca-Cola, as far as like the actual company. When I look in the style book, there is not an entry alphabetically for Coca-Cola or the Coca-Cola company. But when I then think, all right, I wonder if there is a section, a grouping of company names. All right, so yes, absolutely there is. There's a section of company names, all right, and under the company names, there's a big listing of alphabetized companies, and here where I've highlighted in purple, here is the Coca-Cola company. And so there is a hyphen, Coca-Cola, capitalized, it's a hyphen, and then you use CO period at the end instead of writing out the whole word company. All right, great. So I got my answer on that one. So again, just know that if you can't find it alphabetically on its own, be thinking about what might this be grouped under. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple of groupings that you'll likely use pretty frequently. So company names is one of them. All right, military titles. There are several pages worth of military titles. So if I was looking under something like petty officer, do I capitalize that? I look under the term petty officer, and it's in the style book, in the P section, but there's not much information on it, right? And so let's say that doesn't answer my question. It also tells me to see military titles. So then I look under military titles, and there's more information under petty officer under military titles. All right, so military titles is a big grouping you might need to look at from time to time. Composition titles, all right, that's going to be like song titles, movie titles, book titles, All right, it has all the different information about how to punctuate those. Are they in italics or no? And then numerals. Numerals is a huge grouping that you're likely to use pretty frequently on this assignment, as well as in your work in media writing for the rest of the time that you do media writing. Okay, great. So we've gone over a little bit about how do I use this book, right? We went over the A through Z section, but also after those first 300 pages or so, there are some segments that stand on their own because there's so much information within these segments. Okay, so after A through Z, there's a section specifically on punctuation. Okay, there's a section specifically on business information, on data journalism, guidelines for social media, which is really important right now. There's a specific section for religion, right? Religious terms. For sports, this is really important for sports writers, whether you're doing print, online, broadcast sports writing. There's a section for fashion. There's a section for media law. There's a section for broadcast writing specifically. So make sure that you look at the beginning of the AP style book and look at the contents, right? See what all is available to you in this book. Also, very important in the book for this assignment is the editing marks page. In my copy here on the spiral bound book, it is page 540 or so, right before the bibliography. And this is the page that shows you the various markings that you're going to use to make corrections and revisions on the assignment. Now, there is a similar page at the end of the Working with Words book, okay? Now, my understanding is that most of us who teach 2033 are okay if you use either the AP editing marks or the Working with Word editing marks. Now, almost all of them are the same. The two that stand out to me that are different are the markings for making a letter lowercase and for deleting a word or a phrase. Okay, there's slight differences in the way that those look. So, but what I want you to do is double check with your particular instructor if they're okay with this. They may want you for the AP assignment to use only the AP style book. But again, check with them. All right. So for example, this just shows you like something is abbreviated and I want it not to be abbreviated. And I look over here and I see that for don't abbreviate, the way that I do that is to circle the abbreviation, and that is going to indicate to someone looking at it that instead of being the abbreviation, it should be spelled out. All right. There are marks in here for how to insert a paragraph, how to switch the order of letters or words, when to use figures or when to spell a number out, when to abbreviate, not abbreviate, inserting a space, deleting a space, basically every editing mark that you can think of. All right, so using the correct mark is part of the grade for this assignment, and also for on your exams throughout the semester in 2033. So don't just cross something out and think that that means it's deleted. All right, that's not the mark for deleting in either one of the books. So make sure that you're using the correct marks, because finding the error and using the correct mark are both part of the grades for this assignment. All right, let's see, what else do we need to cover? What I hear from all of the instructors of 2033 when we're all talking is that on this assignment in particular, if students don't do well, it's generally because they've rushed through and guessed at the answers, right? You think you know, you rush through and you don't do the editing marks right, or you take a guess, all right? If you keep doing that, you're not gonna do well on this assignment. So use the book, look things up, use the book as it was intended, right? And don't rush through and guess. We give you quite a bit of time to work on this and to ask questions, and it's because we want you to learn how to use this book and do well. Because you'll be pretty much every assignment you do from here on out will require you to adhere to AP style. Unless you're told otherwise. There's a few assignments that are outside of the AP style rule, but most of them you'll be using AP style. I think as we come to a conclusion on this lecture for how to successfully do the AP style assignment, I just want to remind you that the most frequently used AP style issues are going to be abbreviations and acronyms, okay? When to capitalize or not capitalize, anything that has to do with numbers, all right? So a statistic, an address, a date, right? Anything like that you're gonna wanna look up. And then social media and computer terms, okay? This, in the Working with Words textbook, there's a section, it's around page 393, and it talks about these 4 particular issues and how these are the sections that we spend the most time on concerning editing and AP style. All right, so abbreviations and acronyms, capitalization, numbers, social media, and computer terms. All right, so make sure you're looking up all these little details throughout the AP assignment, spend some time on it, learn how to use the book, ask your instructor questions. All right, good luck.